The story begins in a creepy, old pawn shop. A nervous, trembling man named Pete enters, carrying a drum-playing monkey toy with blood-stained clothes. The shopkeeper, a grizzled old man, eyes him suspiciously. Pete claims the blood isn't his and insists he's here to return the toy, but the shopkeeper points to a faded sign, "No returns on children's toys." Pete knows this isn't just any toy. When it plays its drums, something terrible happens. Suddenly, the monkey springs to life and begins to furiously beat its tiny drum. The two men are terrified. The drumming stops. For a few seconds, there is an eerie silence. Then, a rat scurries by, chewing on an electrical wire. A gunshot rings out, and the shopkeeper is hit, falling to his death. A horrified Pete grabs a flamethrower and desperately tries to incinerate the cursed toy. Now let's meet twin brothers Bill and Hal. They don't exactly see eye to eye. Hal explains that because Bill is 3 minutes older, he uses every chance to bully and belittle him. They live with their single mother, Lois, their father having left them a long time ago. One day, while digging through their dad's old belongings, they find Pete's uniform, revealing he was their father. They also find a mysterious box containing the very same cursed monkey toy. Hal notices a note that says, "Wind the key and see what happens." Without a second thought, Bill turns the key. The monkey's face contorts into a terrifying grin as it raises its drumsticks, but it doesn't play. The next day, their mother sends them to a restaurant with their nanny, as she has a date that night. Hal is immediately unsettled, seeing the cursed monkey already in the back seat. They arrive at the restaurant, where a chef performs a spectacular cooking show, much to the boys' delight. Outside, the monkey has mysteriously moved to the front seat. The creepy toy begins to play its drum. The drumming stops, but in the restaurant, the chef accidentally swings his knife, decapitating the nanny. The scene shifts to the nanny's funeral. A younger Hal narrates how the event drove a wedge between him and his brother. Their mother tries to comfort them, telling them that's just how life is, and that everyone dies eventually. To lighten the mood, the three of them return home and have a spontaneous dance party. Hal remembers this as one of the happiest days of his life despite the tragedy. A few days later, in school, Hal opens his bag to find the monkey inside. His classmates see it and make fun of him. Later, in gym class, some bullies throw bananas at Hal, mocking him. Bill ordered them to do it. Hal storms home, finding the monkey on his bed. He blames the toy for his misery and expresses his hatred for his brother. In a fit of rage, he wishes Bill was dead and winds the monkey's key. At that exact moment, Bill returns home. The monkey begins to furiously beat its drum. Bill finds their mother baking in the kitchen. Suddenly, blood gushes from her face, and she collapses, dying instantly. Young Hal explains that the doctors called it a boomerang aneurysm, a disease that affects only 1 in 44 million people. But Hal knows the truth. It was the cursed monkey that killed her. After their mother's funeral, the twins are adopted by their Aunt Ida and Uncle Chip, who try their best to keep them happy. That night, Hal decides he has to get rid of the monkey. He starts cutting into it, only to be horrified when blood gushes out. He keeps cutting until he has it in pieces. The next day, their uncle and aunt take them to a new, distant home. But that night, Bill looks out the window and sees something shocking. The monkey is back. Bill immediately blames Hal, who denies it, frantically explaining how he cut the toy into pieces. He says the monkey is cursed and is responsible for their nannies and their mother's deaths. This makes Bill wonder, does the toy only kill the person who wins the key? He suspects their mother did the same. Despite Hal's desperate warnings, Bill decides to wind the key. As a result, Uncle Chip, who was out hunting, is trampled to death by a stampede of horses. The brothers finally understand that the monkey is the cause of all these deaths. Knowing they can't destroy it, they decide the only way to control it is to lock it up. They seal the monkey in its box and throw it down an old, abandoned well, hoping this nightmare is finally over. Jump forward 25 years. Aunt Ida, now an elderly woman, sleeps peacefully in her bed when she's startled by a strange noise. Grabbing a shotgun, she goes downstairs to investigate, but finds nothing. As she heads back up, the stairs collapse beneath her. She falls, and a series of hooks lodge themselves in her face. In agony, she pulls the hooks out and cleans her wounds with alcohol. Suddenly, she smells a strong gas leak and investigates the kitchen. As she approaches the stove, her head spontaneously bursts into flames. Panicking, she runs outside and crashes into a "for sale" sign. Meanwhile, an adult Hal is working at a supermarket. He asks his boss to leave early, explaining that this is the 1 week a year he gets to see his son. His boss remarks that his ex-wife must be awful. Hal corrects him, saying it was his choice to keep things this way. Hal goes to pick up his son, Pete, and meets his ex-wife and her new boyfriend. They coldly accuse Hal of never being there for his son. The new boyfriend announces that he's legally adopting Pete and Hal will never see him again. Hal explodes in a furious rage. At the same time, a young man named Ricky arrives at a garage sale. He spots the cursed monkey toy and, as he touches it, has a flashback to his own father. Ricky buys the toy to show his mom, saying it reminds him of his dad, who mysteriously disappeared years ago. Back with Hal, he and Pete are staying in a motel. It's clear they don't know each other well. Pete is working on a family tree project and asks about Hal's family. Hal lies, saying he's an only child, and becomes visibly uncomfortable when the conversation turns to his deceased mother. Later that night, Hal gets a call from his brother Bill, whom he hasn't seen in a decade and hasn't spoken to in 5 years. Bill tells him about Aunt Ida's death and asks Hal to check her house to make sure the monkey isn't there. This enrages Hal because all he wants is to spend time with his son. As Hal looks out the window, he sees a woman about to swim in the pool. A broken compressor teeters on the roof, ready to fall and electrify the water. The compressor drops, the woman explodes, and Hal immediately knows the monkey is back. He wakes up Pete and tells him they have to leave immediately. In the car, Hal explains that Aunt Ida died and he has to handle her affairs. The next morning, they arrive at Aunt Ida's house and are greeted by a real estate agent. She mentions that Bill told her they would be coming. This shocks Pete, who learns his father lied about having a brother. The agent takes them inside, explaining how the city has become a hotbed of bizarre, deadly accidents since Aunt Ida's death. She opens a jammed closet door, and a shotgun on a shelf inside discharges, killing her instantly. The police arrive, and a lady officer questions Hal, warning him not to leave town. Hal frantically searches the house for the monkey but can't find it. In desperation, he checks the phone book and finds a number listed under Mrs. Monkey. He calls it and hears Bill's voice on the voicemail. Bill's message says he's already found his favorite monkey toy and doesn't need anyone's help. Hal now realizes his brother is the one responsible for the carnage and has lured him here. Flashback to 25 years ago, we see Bill's story. He discovered that their mother's death was Hal's fault. Hal had wound the key. After they threw the monkey in the well, Bill secretly went back to retrieve it, intending revenge. But when he arrived, only the key remained. Still, he waited. Years later, as a young man, he received a fortune cookie that said, "Win the key and see what happens." After that, he started seeing the monkey everywhere. Desperate, he put an ad in the newspaper to find the drumming monkey. Back in the present, Bill wins the key, hoping the monkey will finally kill Hal. But the monkey has other plans and kills Hal's boss instead, who chokes to death on a cigar. At that moment, Ricky arrives at Bill's house, frantic. He claims he saw his brother, who looks just like him. He also demands his $15 back and wants the monkey toy, explaining it reminds him of his dad. Bill furiously yells at him to leave. An enraged Ricky goes home, pulls out his dad's police uniform, grabs a gun, and decides to get the monkey back by force. Hal and Pete arrive at a motel, and Hal angrily calls Bill. He tells him he knows Bill has the monkey. Bill demands that Hal bring Pete to him so Pete can win the key, believing whoever wins the key is spared the next death. He threatens to keep winding it, killing more and more people until Hal finally dies. Hal decides to drop Pete off with his mother, but it only leads to a fight. Pete accuses his father of not caring about him, and Hal tries to explain that he has too much bad luck in his life and doesn't want to pass it on. A loud knock interrupts them. It's Ricky in the police uniform. He pulls his gun, ordering them to come with him. Ricky takes them to Bill's house and forces Pete inside to get the monkey. He threatens to kill both of them if he doesn't comply. Bill warns Pete, "No matter what, do not win the key." Pete expertly navigates the traps Bill has set. Outside, Hal distracts Ricky, who confesses he's not a real cop. Suddenly, they notice a massive beehive. Inside, Pete meets his Uncle Bill, who is talking to the monkey. Bill shows him the toy, lying that it was his favorite as a kid and claiming it's broken. He pressures Pete to turn the key to fix it. Pete hesitates but gives in, ignoring his father's warning. The monkey springs to life, beating its drum wildly. Outside, the beehive falls. Ricky accidentally shoots it, and the bees swarm into his mouth, killing him instantly. Hal screams for his son. Bill hears him and realizes his plan has failed again. In a fit of rage, he grabs the monkey and forces it to play, hoping to kill Hal. But the monkey, now possessed with a life of its own, overpowers Bill and throws him across the room. Hal comes in through the back door and finds Pete. Bill sees the monkey playing its drum faster than ever before. He looks outside and is horrified to see the curse spreading, causing mass carnage across the city. The roof collapses on him, burying him under the rubble. Hal finds his brother, furious at what he's done. But Bill, full of remorse, admits he only wanted revenge for their mother's death. He thought Hal had wanted to kill him. Hal, emotional, says she was his mother too, and he never wanted any of this to happen. He apologizes, saying they should have been there for each other. But it's not too late to fix their relationship. Bill, seeing the wisdom in Hal's words, apologizes sincerely. The two brothers finally reconcile, mending their broken bond. Hal invites him on their road trip, and Bill happily accepts. Just as a sliver of hope appears, the monkey plays one final beat on its drum. This triggers a hidden tripwire, sending a bowling ball crashing into Bill's head, killing him instantly. The next morning, Hal and Pete continue their road trip. As they leave the city, they witness the horrific aftermath of the monkey's rampage. Burnt-out buildings, shattered bodies, and a world torn apart in a single night. To end the cycle of death, they decide to keep the monkey close and ensure no one ever turns the key again. They pass an old man on a horse with a shimmering back of ash. A bus full of cheerleaders passes by, only to be struck by a horrifying accident caused by the cursed monkey. And that's where our story ends.